This webinar series presents key findings from the School Nutrition and Meal Cost Study. This webinar focuses on findings related to school meal program operations. The first webinar in this series provides an overview of the study, and 4 other webinars present key findings related to compliance with the updated nutrition standards and the nutritional quality of school meals, school meal costs and revenues, dietary intakes of school meal participants and non-participants, and satisfaction with school meals and plate waste. Starting in school year 2012-13, the school meal programs began to undergo widespread changes, including updated nutrition standards for meals, additional lunch reimbursement for meals that met the standards, and rules affecting the price charged for full-price lunches. The School Nutrition and Meal Cost Study collected data in school year 2014-15 and was the first comprehensive national assessment of the programs since these major reforms began. As part of the study, School Food Authority or SFA directors and school nutrition managers completed web surveys to provide information about program operations in their SFAs and schools. The final analysis sample included 518 SFAs and over 1,200 schools. These surveys collected information about a broad array of topics. In this webinar, we present key findings for 6 topic areas, including SFA's views on the updated nutrition standards and challenges faced in implementing them, schools' participation in child nutrition programs, average student participation rates, locations where breakfast is offered, prices charged for paid meals, which are meals purchased by students who are not certified to receive meals free or at a reduced price, and the length of meal periods. 2 years after the updated nutrition standards were introduced, the majority of SFA directors thought the standards were helpful in meeting the underlying nutrition goals for children. 78% of SFA directors reported that the standards were very or somewhat helpful in decreasing children's sodium intakes. 70% of SFA directors thought that the standards were helpful in meeting but not exceeding children's calorie requirements, and a comparable percentage thought the standards were helpful in increasing children's intakes of dark green and red and orange vegetables. Somewhat smaller percentages of SFA directors, 62 to 64%, thought that the standards were helpful in increasing children's consumption of whole grains and beans and peas. In school year 2014-15, SFAs faced some challenges in implementing or maintaining compliance with the updated standards. SFA directors rated potential challenges on a scale from 1 to 5, with 5 indicating a significant challenge. The greatest challenge SFAs faced, with a mean rating of 3.8, was the cost of foods that need to be included in meals in order to meet the standards. More moderate challenges included the availability of appropriate foods, staff training, the need for additional staff labor, and the need to offer different portion sizes to different grade groups. The need for additional equipment or kitchen remodels and upgrades were less of a challenge, as was understanding the updated standards. All of the schools that participated in the study participated in the National School Lunch Program, or the NSLP. The vast majority of these schools, 94%, also offered breakfast through the School Breakfast Program, or the SBP. In addition, 22% of schools offered after-school snacks through either the School Lunch Program or the Child and Adult Care Food Program, or CACFP. Most schools that offered after-school snacks did so through the School Lunch Program. Finally, 5% of schools offered suppers through the CACFP. Overall, an average of 56% of students participated in the NSLP on a typical day in school year 2014-15. Participation was highest among elementary school students and lowest among high school students. Participation rates in the SBP were notably lower compared to the NSLP. On a typical day in school year 2014-15, 21% of students participated in the SBP. Like the NSLP, participation was highest among elementary school students and lowest among high school students. Schools may offer breakfast to students in a variety of locations. The cafeteria or other food service area was the most common place where students ate breakfast, but the availability of other locations varied by school type. Breakfast in the classroom was available in 27% of elementary schools, compared with 15 and 14% of middle and high schools. On the other hand, grab-and-go breakfasts were available in 21% of high schools and 15% of middle schools, but only 7% of elementary schools. 10% of high schools let students eat breakfast outdoors, compared to just 2% of elementary and middle schools. Next, we'll look at the prices charged to students for paid meals. In school year 2014-15, schools charged $2.42 on average for a paid lunch, which is also known as a full-price lunch. The most commonly charged price for a paid lunch was $2.50. The average price charged for a paid breakfast was $1.43, and the most common price was $1.25. The average prices charged for a paid lunch and paid breakfast were lower in elementary schools than in middle or high schools. The average price of a paid lunch increased by 25% between school year 2009-10 and school year 2014-15. It increased from $1.93 in 2009-10 to $2.42 in 2014-15. This increase is consistent with the Paid Lunch Equity, or PLE rule, which went into effect in the 2011-12 school year and affected the minimum price SFAs could charge for paid lunches. The purpose of the PLE rule is to ensure that SFAs' food service accounts receive sufficient funds for paid lunches from student payments or other non-federal sources so that paid lunches are not subsidized by reimbursements for free and reduced-price lunches. The average price of a paid breakfast also increased over this time period from $1.13 in 2009-10 to $1.43 in 2014-15, which reflects a 27% increase. Note that the PLE rule did not apply to breakfast. Previous research has shown that participation among students paying full price for school meals tends to decrease as meal prices increase. For this reason, there have been concerns about how price increases resulting from the PLE rule might affect student participation. We found that a 10-cent increase in the price of a paid lunch was associated with a decrease of 0.7 percentage points in the rate of paid meal participation. This equates to roughly 2% of the students who would have participated in the school lunch program by paying full price for a lunch. Finally, we'll look at the length of lunch and breakfast meal periods. The length of meal periods, including the time students have to wait in line to get their meals, may influence their decisions to eat a school meal. In school year 2014-15, the average lunch period was 30 minutes long, and students spent an average of 5 minutes waiting in line for their lunch period. The length of the average breakfast period was slightly longer at 37 minutes, but students only spent 3 minutes on average waiting in line to get their breakfast. The average time students spent waiting in line to get their meals has not changed much over time. More information on these findings, as well as findings from the other study objectives, can be accessed on FNS's website using the link shown here. This includes the study reports, infographics, and additional webinars.